In the Laramie Project, I noticed a few things. From one, like from lecture, it was mentioned that this play is episodic, and that really was very clear. This play moved a lot from different locations very abruptly, very quickly, and then the timelines would also constantly fluctuate. Like sometimes they talk about his death, and then like his early life and of Matt, and it was just kind of a lot of different things going on. Then they'd also go from moment to moment. The journal entries, like all of that stuff, would just change. And also, one thing I noticed was like how the rural towns and small towns would view homosexuals. They weren't very welcoming. It was more of like a kind of like the army, don't talk, don't tell. And then like it was weird because some people were just like okay with Aaron McKinney and Russell Henderson like killing, actually okay with that. They understood like oh if a gay person would come up to you and just like kind of hit on you, it was okay to like attack them, which shouldn't be right in any sense of the world. So one of the two values I noticed in this play was religion. People were really, really religiously devoted, and they were not. Some of them were not okay with Matthew being gay. For example, like at the funeral of Matt, the Reverend Fred Phillips was protesting, and then also there was a lot of people just like throughout the book, this conflict talking about how it wasn't okay. Like early on in Act One, the Baptist minister's wife said that she wouldn't want to talk to the Baptist minister, wouldn't want to talk to Amanda because of his biblical views. And then also the second value is just gay people in general. That's like how, well, not gay people in general, just the way people view gay people was negatively. That people weren't comfortable. People were okay with how the guys attacked Matthew. The defense's way of defending on Aaron was to say that Matthew approaching them was bad, and then also in Act Two, two friends of Aaron and then Russell said how it would be how he would have been uncomfortable being hit on and how that would have made him retaliate. So question three was read with a pencil. One of the things that was mentioned was Harvey Milk, and I've heard that name before, but I wasn't sure who that was. And I learned more that he was the first openly gay person to be elected to a public office in California, and he was assassinated in 1978. And then for diversity, one of the things was Laramie was depicted as a small town. It was very secluded, so you could have your own identity. It was very closed off from the world, and it was like hard to be gay. A lot of people said it was like an Act One moment, easier said than done. Catherine and then Jonas immediately knew that it would be hard to be gay in the city after just interacting with people, and then a lot of the time was don't ask, don't tell. People would say they knew gay people, but they'd be fine if no one had mentioned it. And also the theater, what they wanted us to do, the Tectonic Theater wants to know is how people could be more tolerant in the future to prevent these tragedies. And I actually do believe that the type of situation that happened in Laramie could happen in Columbus, but it's very unlikely. Quite for question five, a couple of things to note was the transition from the funeral back to the trial in Act 3, how that happened a couple of times to demonstrate how it's episodic, and then also the transition from how Matt went off on Aaron and Russell, went off with Aaron Russell, and then returned back to talk about with one of their friends in Act 1, and then also the transition from the pastor's wife to then immediately being with Matt at Fireside at the bar. So my two questions that I want to ask everybody is what would you feel comfortable living in 1990s Laramie, Wyoming after learning about this story? The number two was how much do you think that small town atmosphere influenced Russell and Aaron to then kill Matthew?